Dear students, welcome in the class of BA third year. Subject English Literature, Paper Second, Prose and Fiction. I am Dr. Sumer Singh, Assistant Professor of English, Department of English, Government Lohia College, Churu. Dear students, today we will study Aruna Roy's famous essay, Tune into the Voice of the Deprived. So the title of today's essay is the Tune into the Voice of the Deprived. So dear students, first of all, I will introduce you with the author, with the writer Aruna Roy, and then we will discuss the essay in detail. So Aruna Roy is one of the most important political and social activists of India today. She is the founder of Mazdoor Kisan Shakti Sanghathan. So we can say that Aruna Roy, being a political conscious personality, she raises the issues of the farmers, workers and the people down to the earth. So the Mazdoor Kisan Shakti Sanghathan is also established or founded by Aruna Roy, and she is very important writer, activist today. Today's essay, Tune into the Voice of the Deprived. So in the title, the voice of the deprived, it means who are the deprived in our society, especially the farmers, the workers and the people who are still deprived from their basic rights or fundamental rights that are given to them in our Indian constitution. So she raises the issues of these deprived personalities. She raises the voice of these deprived or marginalized section of the society. So this essay is very important essay, and Aruna Roy, as an activist or as a writer, raises very important issue of the farmers and the workers. So she wants to tell in this essay that after several years of our independence, people in India facing so many problems. Even they have not realized their basic and fundamental rights that are ensured into our constitution for them. So it is our duty to be aware about their rights, and it is our duty to ensure their rights, so that the each and every person can enjoy the real benefit of independence and the real benefit of democracy. So let's start the essay in detail. So we start the essay. We all want to matter, from the poorest, most marginalized to the most powerful individual and community. So Aruna Roy, as a writer, raises the issue, and she wants to discuss in this essay that we should pay attention, or we should consider the poorest and the marginalized personalities of India, as well as to the powerful individuals and communities, because our Indian society or our Indian setup is broadly divided into two sections of the society: the poorest one and the rich personalities, or we can say the well-to-do families or the well-off families or the people. She says that we want to we want our views to be heard, because everyone want to be heard, everyone want that his or her views should, must be heard. Our pain and suffering are addressed, and the pain and the suffering and the problem of each and every person should be addressed. Our hopes, aspirations to be acknowledged. So Aruna Roy wants to say that each and every person wants that his voice should be heard. His suffering, sorrows and problems should be addressed, and each and every person's hopes and aspirations to be acknowledged, because all these rights have been given to each and every person into our constitution. The motivational power of this universal desire to be relevant has always encouraged me. So she says this is the universal desire of each and every person, and this universal desire has attracted me always or motivated me always. Democracy theoretically offers every individual an equal voice. She says that democracy in theory offers each and every individual, each and every person equal voice in deciding our collective future. That is empowerment, and that is called empowerment, that each and every person has a power to raise his voice, and each and every person or every individual's voice should decide the collective future of the country. But it is a long voyage from theory to practice. So she wants to raise the issue that in theory and practice there is a wide gap. In theory and practice we have spent several years after our independence, but we are still not in the position to achieve that goal, that there is no difference between theory and practice, because in theory all the people of India and each and every individual of India has given rights, basic rights, fundamental rights, and each and every person's voice should be heard. But still there is a gap between theory and practice, because in reality, in practice, majority of Indian society, majority of Indians are deprived from their basic rights. Yes, it is along this journey that we can nurture individuals and collective motivation with compassion and understanding, or sow the seeds of our collapse through indifference, shatter dreams and silence voices. Our 55 years experiment with democracy has been a mixed bag. So she says that even more, we can say 70 or 75 years have passed, but still we are not in the position to achieve our real goals which were stated in our Indian Constitution. She says that in India, both the sanctity of public space and individual freedom coexist with the attempt to curtail it, but the danger is in the lack of protest when there is a deliberate attempt to limit these spaces. So she wants to indicate towards the fact of Indian people or Indian society that people are not interested to protest for their rights, and they are not interested to protest for their basic fundamental rights. So we can say that in India there is a lack of protest, and this lack of protest is also to some extent responsible for the deprivation of the rights. Yes, in the next paragraph I will skip some paragraph because it is an essay, and we are going to discuss the summary of this essay. So she says that the demolition of urban slums, because in urban setup sometimes the slums of poor personalities and the slums of the we can say that powerless personalities are demolished, driving away of the urban poor, and urban poor are driven away from the city sometimes. So she is indicating towards the poverty of the urban and we can say the metropolitan cities of India. The continuing oppression and marginalization of women and Dalits. She also indicates the continuous marginalization of women and Dalits in India, and the ghettoization of minorities are not merely the denial of visual presence, they are the festering source of our body. They are the festering source of our body. So she says that these are not the sufferings and sorrows of the poor personalities, but these are the we can say that festering source. These are the problems of our Indian society, and we should pay attention towards these things. So she says that these are the festering source of our body politic, which will turn into a Frankenstein. So she indicates towards the basic problems of Indian society, or we can say the major problems which the Indian poor personalities, poor section of society is facing all the problems. The biggest horror for any individual or community is exclusion. So exclusion is a great problem, because we exclude something, that the problems which we can't solve, the problem which we can't resolve, we exclude them. So exclusion is also a problem, a horror. In the consequent spread of alienation and intoleration, we sow the seeds of our own destruction, or in this way, in the exclusion, we also sow our seeds of destruction. We must make the protect the spaces for descent, even of the most poor, alienated, poor personalities, alienated personalities, marginalized personalities. So the people who are marginalized, the people who are alienated anyhow, the people who are poor, they should be considered in the, we can say, limelight, or we should pay attention towards these personalities, and this the marginalized personalities should be brought into the mainstream of our life. So it is the duty of each and every citizen of India. We must ask ourselves, she says that we should ask from ourselves that what can we do, change these conditions, that what can we do, or what type of contribution we can do into the changing of the situation of these deprived personalities, or how can we remove the poverty from our society, how can we remove the problems and the sorrows and the sufferings of the deprived personalities and the marginalized personalities in our society. So we should pay attention towards these things, and we should think, or we should ask from ourselves that how can we change this condition of the poor people in the society. It requires confidence, and she says that at individual level it requires confidence and political maturity to listen to these voices. So confidence as well as political maturity required at the level of politicians, leaders, and the people who are capable, and they should listen the voices of these deprived personalities, and they should pay attention towards the issues of these deprived personalities and the poor personalities of our India. When we do so, we will have an involvement and empowered India, and by listening the voice of the deprived personalities and marginalized personalities, we will contribute into the development of India, and we will make India empowered, or empowerment, we can say we can contribute into the empowered India. In a sense, democracy is at its best when it is kept simple. Very important thing told by Aruna Roy, that democracy should be kept in its simple form. Democracy must not be made confused. It must not be, we can say, made confused by the some people who are interested in their self-interest, etc. So she says that democracy must be kept in simple way and straightforward. The vote is only an affirmation of the people being sovereign in a democratic framework. So the right to cast a vote is important power that is given to each and every citizen in the country. So she says that right to cast vote, or we can say that vote is the only power that is in the hands of the each and every person, whether they are marginalized or whether they are the poor personality. So they should use this right of vote very consciously, and the very we can say very carefully. The challenge in one sense has been to return in more meaningful ways to having a system of governance of, by, for the people in practical manner. So see, indicating towards this problem of India, that people have been given the right of equality, the right of freedom, the right of liberty, the right of we can say fulfilling the hopes of each and every personality, but still these people are deprived from all these things. So there is a gap between the theory and practice in India. So she says that a good governance or a system of good governance should be established in our country, and democracy in real sense must be of, by, for the people, of the people, by the people, for the people, and it should be in practical way. Yes, and in the next paragraph she says that my own involvement with my campaign, she indicates towards the campaign. She started so many campaign for the betterment of the people. She also did so many activities to enhance or to raise the level of these deprived personalities. So she says in the next paragraph that my own involvement with my campaign shows that even laws with far-reaching consequences like the Right to Information Act, because so many acts were also introduced by our parliament, and these acts are for the welfare of the public or for the marginalized personalities, but the proper benefit is not given to these personalities. Still these personalities and the marginalized personalities, poor personalities are away from these acts, the benefit of these acts and rights. So she indicates towards the information of RTI, Right to Information Act and the Employment Guarantee Act can come about through the involvement of ordinary people in the conception, formulation and implementation of law and policy. They also result in simple practical entitlement for democratic action. I don't see empowerment in the disappearing of problems. She says that it is not the solution that problems should be disappeared. So she says that I don't see empowerment in the disappearance of the problems, but in the strength and ability to deal with them. So she says that we should have strength, we should have ability to deal with the problems. The disappearance of the problems is not the solution of any problem. As you reach the end of a campaign and achieve something, so she is indicating towards the motto of campaign, in the seeds of that achievement lie the problem of future. So she says that in the seeds of the achievement there is another problem, there is the problem of future, maybe even of the present. Democracy primarily needs common sense. Very important thing is told by Aruna Roy, that democracy needs common sense. If there is lack of common sense among the people, among the mass, then they can't enjoy the all fruits and all the benefits of democracy. So Indian people or the marginalized people or the people who are the poor people and who are away from the basic rights of democracy or basic benefits of democracy, they must possess common sense, because common sense is very we can say important if we want to enjoy all the democratic benefits or the fruits of democracy. So she says that primarily democracy needs common sense. Ordinary Indians have it in plenty, and it is good as we can say side of Indian people that they have plenty of common sense among them, and they have good amount of common sense. Provided we perceive it, give it respect, respectability and credence. So she says that there, no doubt there is a common sense in Indian mass, and there is a plenty of common sense in Indians, but what is necessary? The necessary thing is that we perceive it. We should perceive that common sense. We should perceive democracy in the real sense. We should give respect the democracy. We should give respect the common sense and respectability and credence. So these things are important. We need to nurture a social ethos. We need to nurture a social ethos where religion means compassion. Religion means compassion. Compassion should be there. Kindness, acceptance of another's faith. So we should believe in such a religion, or we should believe in the real aim, the real objective of religion, that is compassion, kindness and acceptance of others' faith. Where purity is respected, and she says that where purity is respected and success brings humility and not arrogance. Success must bring humility, not arrogance, and we should accept or we should respect plurality, appreciation and not rejection. We should appreciate other people. We should appreciate the faith of other, the achievement of other people. We must not reject the faith of others. We must not reject the achievement of others. If the national movement was one massive act of concerted public action, it can't peter out into a memory of recalled glory. What a million small and big efforts have shown in the in post-independence India, that is this continuous to exist. Unfortunately, it is no longer central to public political concern. Politics has been narrowed to its most limited definition and allowed the justification for inaction. So, this is the problem of today's democracy. Aruna Roy indicates towards the most important problem of democracy, that people have limited the definition of democracy. People have limited the sense of democracy because self-interest, vested interest are important among the people. So, for the self-interest, people violate the others' right. People reject the rights of other personalities. So, democracy is limited in definition and allowed the justification for inaction. It means allowed the justification for inaction. It means nothing needed to do. So, that is the condition. In a democracy, politics is everybody's business. This is the suggestion. Aruna Roy concludes this essay with some important and crucial suggestion, and these suggestions are given to the people and public, that in democracy, politics is everybody's business. Each and everybody's business, each and everybody's duty is politics, because it is the democracy. And in democracy, each and every citizen of the country should contribute, and each and every person should use the we can say use the right of vote with common sense. They should apply common sense while they are using the power of democracy. So, everybody's business, and our political lives only begin with a casting of the vote. And a casting of a vote is a right of each and every person in democracy, and we should cast our vote, and that vote should be casted with common sense. So, the damning of politics and making it a bad word in our lexicon has given us the luxury of cynicism and inaction. People don't take interest in democracy and in politics, and they say that politics is a bad business. So, this attitude is not good attitude, because we are living in a democratic country. So, it is our right, it is our duty that we should participate actively in politics and democracy, and we should use our right of casting vote with our common sense and with awareness. So, if we are we can say uninterested, or if we are not taking interest in politics and democracy, it means we are creating a problem for the whole country. For too long, we have only blamed others. Aruna Roy says that for a long period, or for too long, we have blamed others for the problems of country, from the problems of society, and now it is not the time to blame others for the problems, because we should actively participate in politics, we should actively participate in democracy. We can't rely on one leader, and now it is not the time that we should depend upon one leader, because we should also actively contribute in the upliftment of our country, in the development of our country, into the upliftment of the deprived personalities, poor personalities. Ensconced in an artificial halo to bring about change. Empowerment is the recognition of our collective political responsibility. So, empowerment means we should recognize our collective political responsibility. So, it is a collective political responsibility of each and every person that he or she actively should contribute into the development of country. We need to use the power we have with intelligence and grace, and we should use our power. That power is given to us by democracy, by Indian Constitution, with intelligence and grace. We should use that power with intelligence and grace, because we must not be careless. We must not be, we can say, reluctant in the role of democracy, in the role of politics. So, Aruna Roy concludes this essay by saying that democracy is not confined only to the casting of votes. To cast a vote is not only our we can say aim, but we should cast our vote with common sense, and we should contribute actively in Indian politics or Indian democracy, and thereby to contribute into the development of our country. Yes, and it is our collective political responsibility. So each and every person should play his or her role collectively in Indian politics or in Indian democracy, so that we can hear the voice of the deprived, and we can upliftment the level of each and every person, whether he is poor or whether he is deprived. So this is the we can say very important essay of Aruna Roy, and the title of this essay is also suggestive and very apt, that tune into the voice of the deprived. We should be in tune, we should be in harmony to the voice of the deprived. We should hear the voice of the deprived, and we should try to solve the problem of the deprived one and the neglected one in the society. So thanks very much, dear students, for listening patiently, and in this way we have discussed this important essay. In the next class we will discuss the another essay. Thanks a lot.